Under the gaze of the onlookers on the walls of Yulan City and guards at the East City Gate, the black-haired man Luo Feng took only a few steps before he entered the East City Gate and met up with Emperor Qing, who was already there. "Brother Luo Feng, you won, you overwhelmingly won." Emperor Qing was even more excited than Luo Feng. "In the presence of numerous cultivators, your direct power completely suppressed Elder Tian He. This battle, I believe, will spread throughout the entire Yulan City within a day." Luo Feng simply smiled. If it was a clash in the wilderness, intelligence organizations might still need to confirm the authenticity of the encounter. But this time the clash occurred outside the East City Gate, watched by hundreds of thousands. The authenticity of this battle is unquestionable. "It seems I've stepped on Elder Tian He to make my name known throughout Yulan City," Luo Feng thought, which was also part of his plan. Already possessing elder-level strength, yet still painstakingly hunting for resources, would be too pitiful. Moreover, the elder hunting area is uncontrollable in terms of risk. Without further breakthroughs in strength, Luo Feng had no intention of continuing to hunt. "Let's go, let's deal with the spoils of war." Controlling the Void Netherworld pupil ship, Luo Feng and Emperor Qing quickly left the East City Gate, heading directly for the Primordial Hall in the inner city. The scene of the Void Netherworld pupil ship flying away was also under the watch of hundreds of thousands of onlookers. Impressive. That giant fluffy claw must be a formidable secret treasure. With this secret treasure, Elder Tian He was completely defeated. Relying on the power of the secret treasure alone in terms of realm accumulation, he is probably not as good as Elder Tian He. Elder Tian He's Eternal Night Nightingale Body, I heard, requires exchanging a high-level primordial life bloodline, which is worth much more than many secret treasures. Without the Eternal Night Nightingale Body, Elder Tian He wouldn't qualify to make Luo Feng Divine Emperor use that secret treasure claw. Divine Emperor Luo Feng faced his enemy empty-handed all along, only using the secret treasure claw in the end. Elder Tian He did not show all his strength. His avatar in the dark sacred realm is where his strongest power lies. There were also debates among cultivators. Elder-level beings, already on the top echelons in Yulan City, are subjects of admiration for many weaker cultivators. Their battles are meticulously studied by many cultivators over long years. The cave mansion in the inner city. Kumo's master, Yu Yong, resides here. Elder Tian He lost to Luo Feng Divine Emperor in a battle? Living in the inner city, Yu Yong couldn't get to the East City Gate in time to watch the battle, so he had to purchase the detailed battle scene from the intelligence organization. Given the sheer number of onlookers, the information was sold very cheaply. This giant claw defeated Elder Tian He in one move? After watching the entire battle, Yu Yong's heart trembled a bit. If it had been me facing Luo Feng back then, I probably would have been torn apart by that claw immediately. He neither had an avatar, nor did he have a foundation as deep as Elder Tian He. Elder Tian He managed to escape from LuoFeng's hands. He, however, would not have had that capacity. The path of cultivation is tremendously dangerous. One wrong move can lose the whole game. Yu Yong was very cautious. After arriving at the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm, he preferred to be slower and more cautious, not willing to take too many risks. But Kumo joined the Deceit workshop, constantly plundered, and used the workshop's resources to reach the mid-stage Divine Emperor level, almost catching up to his master Yu Yong. Haste makes waste, taking it slowly might let one go further. Yu Yong felt a sensation of perfection in the vast bloodline within him at that moment. My primordial bloodline is inferior to Elder Tian He's. But after being continuously sculpted and tapping into the potential over long years, I finally reached the Half Primordial Level. He reached the Half Primordial Level in just a few decades, always researching various secret techniques to exploit bloodline talents. But upon hearing about the battle between Luo Feng and Elder Tian He, Yu Yong suddenly had the idea to head to the Dark Sacred Realm. Reached the Half Primordial Level, want to break out of the cage? Opportunities in the Dark Sacred Realm are the most abundant. Such dazzling talents like Luo Feng are many, and it's difficult for them to break out of the cage. I'm much weaker in talent. If I don't strive hard now, then I'll have even less hope. Deep longing shone in Yu Yong's eyes. Before the chance to break out of the cage, he was willing to risk everything. Because on the path to growth, he had far too many regrets. Sigh. On the day LuoFeng's name spread throughout Yulan City, Yu Yong, a half-primordial level bloodline cultivator, quietly piloted the flying boat alone away from Yulan City, preparing to go through the Holy Mountain teleport to the Dark Sacred Realm. Yu Yong piloted the flying boat away from the inner city. Luo Feng and Emperor Qing, however, piloted the Void Netherworld pupil ship, came to the inner city, heading straight for Primordial Hall. When Luo Feng and Emperor Qing arrived at the first floor of the Primordial Hall, they found that the heads of all 13 shops there had unexpectedly all gathered, eagerly welcoming Luo Feng. We've seen Divine Emperor Luo Feng. We have all heard the news that Divine Emperor Luo Feng defeated Elder Tian He. These heads were all very enthusiastic. If they previously interacted with Luo Feng as peers, now they showed a few more bits of respect. They all worked for major powers and naturally showed more respect to beings at the elder level. Luo Feng looked at the 13 heads before him and said with a smile, "Everyone is quite well informed. These 13 powers monopolizing the business of buying low-level primordial life corpses at Primordial Hall, in terms of background and capabilities, are certainly not inferior to forces like the Insect Nest, Shadow Tower, or other plundering powers. After all, in terms of earning resources, Theft and plunder can never compete with monopolizing the trade of primordial life materials. Luo Feng Divine Emperor has returned from this hunt. I presume there are some spoils of war? Asked his old friend Bu Yu with a smile. Indeed there are some. Luo Feng nodded. Let's see, what price can you offer? As he spoke, Luo Feng displayed the spoils of war. A late-stage Divine Emperor Blood Demon LSI, 15 Frost Soul Watchers, and several early-stage Divine Emperor Prey. Luo Feng also displayed the potent venom of the Blood Demon LSI. A late-stage Divine Emperor Blood Demon LSI? What a treasure! One manager after another exclaimed with fiery eyes. For cultivators who use poison, the corpse of Blood Demon LSI is treasure all around. For the corpse of the Blood Demon LSI plus the merit points and that potent venom, I can give 160 million primordial crystals. His old friend Bu Yu immediately quoted a very sincere price. 165 million primordial crystals. A higher bid came instantly. I am willing to offer 180 million primordial crystals. A rock giantess bid, shocking the other managers around, as this price would not only yield no profit but also incur some losses. The rock giantess smiled at Luo Feng. My Elder Xingyi sends his regards to Luo Feng Divine Emperor. Elder Xingyi? Luo Feng understood, acknowledging the friendly gesture from the other party. Elder Xingyi. Proficient in life healing and also skilled in various potent poisons. A fearsome elder within the top 20 ranks of Yulan City, whose strength and position are comparable to the Master of Deceit Workshop. A late-stage Divine Emperor Blood Demon LSI, in the hands of Elder Xingyi, a supremely skilled poison user, 180 million primordial crystals is not at a loss. These elders, ranking within the top 20, are all unfathomably deep, almost approaching the level of the 3 Hall Masters. Elder Xingyi, who practices dual paths just like the Master of Deceit Workshop, has also reached late-stage Divine Emperor in both paths, and they have even developed powerful combined secret techniques. This brings their strength close to the 3 Hall Masters. Because these elders are almost all strong figures of the source world with avatars, they mostly rely on mutual interest and cannot be coerced. Even the 3 Great Hall Masters cannot coerce individuals like the Master of Deceit Workshop or Elder Xingyi. Elder Xingyi is quite courteous towards me, thought Luo Feng. Please thank Elder Xingyi for me, Luo Feng said with a smile. Finally, after fervent bidding from 13 managers, the price of these spoils of war turned out to be much higher than expected, selling for 395 million primordial crystals. Luo Feng and Emperor Qing then left the primordial hall together. Who does business like this, willingly incurring losses to make a purchase? Emperor Qing couldn't believe it. The prices for low-level primordial life corpses are quite transparent, and variance shouldn't be this large. Yet this time it was several million higher than estimated. Not only investing the profit but even incurring losses. Just this once, Luo Feng said, it's the elders behind them trying to make nice, which is why they're willing not to make a profit. Next time I hunt, that will be a normal transaction. Here's your share. Luo Feng handed a bag of primordial crystals to Emperor Qing. Emperor Qing glanced at it. It contained a whopping 39.5 million primordial crystals. This made Emperor Qing somewhat emotional. Partnering with a formidable being and merely getting a 10th share amounted to a high sum. He, a mid-stage Divine Emperor cultivator, typically had to team up with several peers on his level to stand a chance of killing a mid-stage Divine Emperor low-level primordial life. During this process, various dangers could also arise. A failure, with the avatar dying in battle, could even result in loss of carried treasures. Hunting was a gamble with potential gains and losses. Accumulating 39.5 million primordial crystals was not easy. This is our last time teaming up, said Emperor Qing, holding the bag of primordial crystals with a smile, and it allowed me to earn a tidy sum. For a long time, I won't need to worry about resources. In order to make a breakthrough to mid-stage Divine Emperor, he had exhausted his savings. This time, however, he managed to regain a significant amount. I won't be hunting for a while either. Next time I go hunting, shall I take you along to see the sights? Luo Feng smiled, indicating a fundamental breakthrough in his strength was anticipated in his next hunt. No, that wouldn't be necessary. I'd only hold you back. I'd rather not go, Emperor Qing immediately declined. Haha. Luo Feng laughed, I'll go check out other merchants first. All right, Emperor Qing nodded, then asked, by the way, are you changing your cave mansion? With your strength, brother Luo Feng, staying in mines doesn't quite fit. That was the cave mansion Emperor Qing rented during his early stage Divine Emperor, LuoFeng's strength still residing there, even sharing it. Indeed, it no longer matched his status. Luo Feng nodded, I do plan to change to a different cave mansion. The energy supply in Emperor Qing's mansion was insufficient. LuoFeng's absorption of energy was already inadequate. Moving forward as his power advanced further, the demand for energy would only increase. Emperor Qing nodded. They would inevitably part ways eventually. When the time comes, I will reserve a section of my mansion for you, Emperor Ming and Di Fu. Would you like to live together? Luo Feng offered. Emperor Qing smiled, of course. Who would refuse to live with an elder? Luo Feng nodded and then flew away. Emperor Qing watched his departing figure. Such is the path of cultivation, thought Emperor Qing. There are gatherings and partings. Different talents tread different paths. Perhaps they become companions for a phase of the journey, but ultimately paths diverge. At least brother Luo Feng and I were once companions, walking a segment of the cultivation path together. Emperor Qing smiled, turned and also left. Yulan City, inner city core area within an ordinary cave mansion. A slightly chubby man with deep blue skin sat watching, a pair of soft antennae on his head and glasses on his nose, grinning as he observed a battle recording within a dossier. Tian He, you actually lost to a newly promoted elder. The chubby man said with a laugh while looking at Elder Tian He beside him. I am wholly convinced by my defeat. Elder Tian He joked with self-deprecating humor, then he turned to the chubby man. Workshop master, aren't you interested in having a contest with him? The chubby man chuckled. He was the master of the deceit workshop. There's no need for comparison. His cultivation base is still relatively shallow and was only relying on an external object. The deceit workshop master shook his head. At least for that last claw strike Luo Feng revealed, the deceit workshop master was confident he could suppress it. The primary reason Elder Tian He was willing to join the deceit workshop was none other than the deceit workshop master himself. The deceit workshop master practiced two different Dao paths and was even attempting to fuse the two into one. Even within the dark sacred realm, there are many who cultivate 2 or 3 Dao paths simultaneously. However, it's exceedingly rare to find those who can fuse different Dao paths into one. Among the top 20 powerhouses of Yulan City, in terms of potential, the deceit workshop master is the first. Elder Tian He knew his own potential was limited, even forced to choose the bloodline path. He naturally needed to latch onto a powerful benefactor and he chose the deceit workshop master. Tian He. After reviewing all the detailed intelligence on Luo Feng, the deceit workshop master finally spoke with a smile. Prepare 1 billion primordial crystals and have your subordinates deliver them to Luo Feng as your apology to him. Apology? Elder Tian He couldn't help but protest. We are both elders, why should I apologize to him? And what I have in Yulan City is only an avatar, why should I curry favor with him? Elders generally have the clone technique and naturally carry a sense of pride. To admit defeat outside the East City Gate was already a blow to Elder Tian He's prestige. And now to offer an apology? Listen to me, the deceit workshop master commanded. Once someone decided to follow him, they needed to do things according to his rules. If Elder Tian He did not listen to him, the deceit workshop master would only distance himself from Elder Tian He. Elder Tian He hesitated but eventually nodded. Fine. I will arrange the apology. Workshop master, I don't understand why we are treating him with such courtesy. Elder Tian He looked at the deceit workshop master for an explanation. Look at the intelligence, he has only been in Yulan City for a little over 1,000 epochs. The deceit workshop master said with a laugh, pointing at the detailed intelligence hovering in front of him. At the beginning he seemed to be at the early stage divine emperor level, but in just over 1,000 epochs, he became strong enough to suppress you. What kind of cultivation speed is that? Workshop master. The intelligence also stated, seemed to be at the early stage divine emperor level. Elder Tian He argued. When he first arrived in Yulan City, it wasn't possible to accurately verify his strength. There was a member of the insect nest who attempted to steal from him, but still failed, unable to discern his true strength. Later when Luo Feng openly took action, he single-handedly defeated our raiding team. At that time, it was clear that his strength was much stronger than that of a mid-stage divine emperor cultivator. In my opinion, when he first came to Yulan City, his real strength should have been at the mid-stage divine emperor level. Only after acquiring resources from Yulan City did he break through his bottleneck, stepping into the late-stage divine emperor. The deceit workshop master gently shook his head. I don't engage in speculation, I only consider the facts. The fact is, this Luo Feng when he first came to Yulan City was even sharing a lease with Emperor Qing, and he was buying the cheapest materials in the city. Clearly he was very poor, the deceit workshop master said, but in just a little over 1,000 epochs, he has become a late-stage divine emperor cultivator. Think about it, how long did you and I take, how many billions of primordial crystals worth of resources did we spend to reach the late stage of divine emperor? Elder Tian He was taken aback. How much had he sacrificed to become a divine emperor at the late stage? Even if one becomes half primordial level, so what? Elder Tian He said, our foundation lies in the dark sacred realm. No more questions, you will understand in the future, the deceit workshop master declared. Yes, I will go arrange the apology right away. Elder Tian He stood up to go. The deceit workshop master watched Elder Tian He leave. Subsequently, whoosh, an invisible fluctuation emerged, and a shadowy figure appeared in midair, a man radiating endless fervor. Wei Yang Palace Master, the deceit workshop master addressed him. The Wei Yang Palace Master, his face as if carved from stone, deep eyes emotionless, was an extremely dominant and authoritarian figure, a half-primordial cultivator who after eons of trials in the dark sacred realm, had established a foundation in the Nine Rivers sacred realm through an avatar. Upon arriving he had even managed to suppress the city builder, the Yuanxiang Palace Master, to become the most powerful hall master in Yulan City. The resources and benefits he received in Yulan City were also the most amongst the 3 hall masters. I heard your deceit workshop's Elder Tian He was defeated by one called Luo Feng? The Wei Yang Palace Master looked at the deceit workshop master, a rare smile on his face. His pride was such that within the city, very few could gain his attention, but the deceit workshop master was clearly one of them. This Luo Feng has extraordinary potential. Even if he leaves for the dark sacred realm in the future, it's very possible he will leave behind an avatar in Yulan City, said the deceit workshop master. The Yulan city of the future might very well be decided by him. Oh. Wei Yong Palace Master's spectral figure smiled. You rate him so highly? The Deceit Workshop Master did not say more. Yulan City is under the collective control of the 3 of US Hall Masters. If he is strong enough, then it will simply go from 3 Hall Masters to 4, said Wei Yong Palace Master with a smile. But for now he still has a long way to go in terms of strength. It seems the Palace Master has thought this through very carefully. The Deceit Workshop Master nodded in agreement. Brother Yuan, Wei Yong Palace Master said, with your talent, you should have caught up to me by now. The 2 paths you're cultivating, you still haven't had a breakthrough? The next expedition is about to start, you're still not participating? I'm not participating, the Deceit Workshop Master said with a slight smile. Wei Yong Palace Master nodded. He and the Master of Deceit Workshop were also friends in the Dark Sacred Realm. Then the communication was abruptly cut off. LuoFeng. The Master of Deceit Workshop pondered. He established the Deceit Workshop. Inherently he was not of a kind nature. His Deceit Realm Tao was filled with darkness and malice. He actually causes my Deceit Realm heart to feel fear? The Master of Deceit Workshop muttered to himself. When watching the battle footage, the Deceit Realm heart, condensed within him, was trembling with fear, instinctively afraid of this LuoFeng. In the Dark Sacred Realm, there are some cultivators that cultivate both paths, elevating them to the Half Primordial Level, pondered the Master of Deceit Workshop, but they still can't escape the braided cage. There is a legend in the Dark Sacred Realm that cultivating both paths is not enough. Only by fusing the 2 paths into one can one undergo a qualitative change and possibly escape the braided cage. I have been cultivating and have only managed to elevate my Deceit Realm Tao to the early stage of Divine Emperor. The Master of Deceit Workshop shook his head slightly. He has reached the late stage Divine Emperor in his dual cultivation before deciding to follow the path of fusion. The fusion at that stage is too difficult. Only after an endless era has the Deceit Realm Tao reached the early stage of Divine Emperor. He even slowed down his other 2 paths, worried about being on the wrong track. The path of fusion has a broader future. Just at the early stage God Emperor level, it is comparable to the ordinary path of a late-stage Divine Emperor. If the fusion path can reach Half Primordial, it is indeed likely that one could escape the braided cage. The Master of Deceit Workshop naturally had both ambition and patience. As for this LuoFeng, let's take a closer look. The Master of Deceit Workshop did not want to make an enemy, but neither did he want to get too close. In the core area of Yulan City lies a cave mansion, which in terms of area, is only a few times larger than Emperor Qing's. This is the new cave mansion I've rented. LuoFeng led Emperor Qing, Emperor Ming Di Fu, and the others as they toured the new mansion. The energy supply here is vast. Emperor Qing sensed the energy that even liquefied into mist in the air. It should be sufficient for a Half Primordial Level cultivator to absorb at full strength. Emperor Ming and Di Fu also felt invigorated. I never thought I could live in the core area of Yulan City. Di Fu couldn't help but remark with emotion. Any cave mansion in this core area was outrageously expensive to rent. How much is the rent here? Emperor Ming curiously asked. 5,000 primordial crystals per epoch, LuoFeng answered, feeling the pinch himself. There was no way around it, as he had already rented one of the smaller ones in the core area. 5,000 primordial crystals for just 1 epoch? Merely staying here for 10,000 epochs would cost 50 million primordial crystals. Emperor Ming and Di Fu were both astounded. Such a housing expense is continuous, and without sufficient strength, one really wouldn't dare rent such an expensive place. LuoFeng had no choice. With the increase in strength, he absorbed energy faster and naturally needed to choose a better cave mansion. This cave mansion, at the very least, would ensure adequate energy supply even after life and death Tao reached the middle stage of Divine Emperor. LuoFeng suddenly sensed someone knocking at the door. Just having moved in and there's already someone knocking? I'll go check it out. Di Fu volunteered and went to the courtyard gate. Di Fu actively went to open the door and saw an elder standing outside. The elder's aura was restrained, but the slight release of energy still gave Di Fu a bit of a shock. Young friend Di Fu? The elder saw Di Fu, immediately recognized him and enthusiastically said, I am here on the orders of my workshop master to present LuoFeng Divine Emperor with an invitation. Our workshop master will personally visit tomorrow. Di Fu immediately took the invitation, and only then did the elder leave with a smile. An invitation? Di Fu quickly delivered the invitation to LuoFeng's hands. LuoFeng opened it to see a few simple sentences written on the invitation, mainly expressing an interest in hiring LuoFeng as the garrison commander of Yundan Building. Further details would be discussed in person when the workshop master of Yundan Building visited the next day. This is the third one today who wants to hire me, LuoFeng laughed as he looked at the invitation. Brother LuoFeng's strength is among the top even among elders. The forces of Yulan City aren't fools. Some with weaker foundations probably all want to hire Brother LuoFeng, Emperor Qing said with a smile. Brother LuoFeng, you should compare multiple offers and see who provides better conditions. LuoFeng nodded. Yulan City seems comparatively safe, but in reality there are still some crises. For instance, there are low-level primordial life forms that can infiltrate Yulan City, and there are also cultivators who may hurt others in the shadows. Therefore, the larger the business, the more it needs sufficient martial might for protection. Even Yulan City itself requires enough martial power. Otherwise, even with the protection of the city walls, they may not withstand an assault from low-level primordial life groups. On the first day Luo Feng moved into his new cave mansion, he received a total of 12 invitations, with the backgrounds of the inviting parties ranging from strong to weak. The most significant was from one of the three great hall masters, Yuanxiang Palace Master, the city builder of Yulan City, who had sent an invitation for Luo Feng to visit his own mansion. Those with weaker backgrounds were ordinary elders, not as strong as Elder Tian He. But these ordinary elders were more willing to spend a great cost to win over Luo Feng. Apart from the 12 invitations, Luo Feng also received an apology gift from Elder Tian He worth 100 million primordial crystals, which surprised him greatly. This Elder Tian He is a powerhouse from the source world. I pose no threat to him. And yet he would send an apology gift. Luo Feng looked at the cloth bag in his hand, which contained 100 million primordial crystals. Elder Tian He has gifted it, so naturally I accepted it. These 12 invitations. Luo Feng sat in the courtyard looking at the night scene of Yulan City and slightly furrowed his brows. The other 11 invitations can all be set aside. The key one is the invitation from Yuanxiang Palace Master. The three great palace masters and only Yuanxiang Palace Master invited me? Luo Feng was somewhat puzzled. This did not match the intelligence he had. Among the three great palace masters, there was no need to mention Master Gai Tao, who focused on artifact refining. The elders around him were all interested in artifact refining. Naturally he would not take the initiative to invite Luo Feng. But it was quite odd that Wei Yang Palace Master did not send an invitation. Wei Yang Palace Master likes to recruit elders the most. Although he joined Yulan City later, he has won over the most numerous tier of elders in the entire city. He usually invites any newly promoted elders, thought Luo Feng, but he didn't invite me. There are more than 700 beings with the strength of the elder tier in the city, and 327 have passed the test to acquire the status of an elder. It was because Wei Yang Palace Master warmly courted many elder tier beings that he held the strongest influence in the city. It just so happens that I also dislike the way Wei Yang Palace Master conducts his affairs, Luo Feng thought. The forces of theft and plunder all belonged under Wei Yang Palace Master's command. I'll go see Yuanxiang Palace Master tomorrow. Luo Feng was curious about Yuanxiang Palace Master, who was after all the founder of Yulan City. As the builder of Yulan City, the cave mansion of Yuanxiang Palace Master was originally the largest in the city. Later however Wei Yang Palace Master took over several mansions to merge into one, forcefully making it much larger than Yuanxiang Palace Master's mansion. Luo Feng arrived at the main gate of the cave mansion. Luo Feng, Divine Emperor? The main gate was wide open, a slender man stood there, smiling at Luo Feng. The palace master has been waiting for Luo Feng, Divine Emperor. Your Excellency, please follow me. This slender man, dressed in a loose robe, had thick body hair. Thanks to Earth Third General, Luo Feng said politely. Under Yuanxiang Palace Master, there were 3 puppets, each possessing the power to rival a perfect level low-level primordial life. In other words, these 3 puppets, if ranked among Yulan City's divine emperors, all could be placed within the top 50. Worthy of being the one who built Yulan City, profound depth, even servants have such formidable strength, Luo Feng thought. This was much stronger than the foundations of the ancestors from the 2 nations of land of origin. Walking inside this massive mansion shortly after in a garden, Luo Feng saw a figure sitting on the ground smiling towards him. Luo Feng, come, take a seat. Although Luo Feng had already obtained information on the other party, this was still the first time he saw Yuanxiang Palace Master's true appearance. Yuanxiang Palace Master's appearance was not too handsome, but he naturally carried an endless charm. Luo Feng couldn't help but feel a sense of goodwill upon seeing him. Master, your subordinate will take his leave, said Earth Third General respectfully. Yuanxiang Palace Master smiled and nodded slightly. Luo Feng then walked over and sat down opposite Yuanxiang Palace Master. This Yuanxiang Palace Master's aura is indeed very weak, Luo Feng observed closely, also sensing that even as Yuanxiang Palace Master sat, there was a faint sense of weariness about him. To feel weary at such a level of cultivation? This was quite incredible. Even Luo Feng could feel that Yuanxiang Palace Master's life fire was struggling to support him. An old ailment. Yuanxiang Palace Master personally poured wine for Luo Feng and said with a smile, originally when I went hunting for super limit level low-level primordial life with some friends, having gotten used to hunting, who would have thought one super limit level primordial life would break through, turning into a high-level primordial life. Coming face to face with a high-level primordial life at close range and I ended up like this, Yuanxiang Palace Master sighed. No way to resolve the contamination? Luo Feng asked. Yuanxiang Palace Master looked at Luo Feng with a smile. As recorded in the experiences of the Dark Sacred Realm, only by freeing one's spiritual will from the braided cage can one rid oneself of this contamination. This is the only way to get rid of it. Facing high-level primordial life, they were killed on the spot. As a powerhouse of the source world, with the avatar in his home source world sharing memories, it was also contaminated. Clearly, that high-level primordial life had a strong killing intent, wishing to completely eradicate these cultivators. Luckily, Yuanxiang Palace Master had the source world's protection and a secret technique to guard his spiritual will, which allowed him to barely save his life. From then on, I could only focus on cultivating my spiritual will. Yuanxiang Palace Master smiled. Additionally, being too bored, I exchanged merit points and applied to build a city in 9 Rivers Sacred Realm, which is this Yulan City. Luo Feng listened. The battle merit required for building a city was extremely high. Yuanxiang Palace Master was evidently very powerful originally, having accumulated a lot of battle merit. After being contaminated during the city building process, the strength he showed was even stronger than that of Wei Yang Palace Master. The reason he ranked second in the city was due to the fact that being contaminated, maintaining his own clarity was already not easy. Naturally, if he could avoid action, he would not act. He had no interest in vying for power or profit. On one hand, there was Yuanxiang Palace Master, who did not vie for power or profit and hardly ever took action. On the other hand, there was Wei Yang Palace Master, who recruited various strong beings and often took action. Wei Yang Palace Master's influence was naturally stronger. I've heard that Yuanxiang Palace Master rarely invites divine emperors, Luo Feng said. Why did the Palace Master invite me this time? You are different. Yuanxiang Palace Master looked at Luo Feng. Yesterday after you defeated Elder Tian He, I inquired about you with 2 divine emperors from Land of Origin in the Dark Sacred Realm. Luo Feng was startled. He inquired in the Dark Sacred Realm about the 2 divine emperors from Land of Origin? The 2 ancestors? Although my power has weakened now, I still have some standing, Yuanxiang Palace Master said with a smile. I found them and they briefly told me about you. In just over 1,000 years, from eternal true God to early stage divine emperor. Another 1,000 years, from early stage divine emperor to late stage divine emperor. Even overpowering Elder Tian He, Yuanxiang Palace Master looked at Luo Feng. You are much stronger than I was when younger. Luo Feng was secretly astonished. The other party knew all his information. I have no malicious intentions, Yuanxiang Palace Master said with a smile. The current me is just struggling to survive. The difficulty of breaking through the braided cage with my spiritual will is too high. I don't even know if I have a chance in this life. But I founded Yulan City with my own hands, and I can feel that the infiltration of the low-level primordial life into Yulan City is growing stronger, said Yuanxiang Palace Master, looking at Luo Feng. I worry that one day Yulan City will be breached. At that time, hundreds of millions of cultivators within will face a terrible calamity. Luo Feng nodded. Where a city is established, it is also natural for it to face destruction. I know Wei Yang's nature. He is extremely selfish, sighed Yuanxiang Palace Master. He came to Yulan City for the purpose of earning resources. Once the situation turns sour, he will only save himself. This city was built by me, and the hundreds of millions of cultivators who have come here are also my responsibility, said Yuanxiang Palace Master. I do not wish to see a calamity where hundreds of millions of cultivators perish gruesomely. That's why I invited you here. Yuanxiang Palace Master looked at Luo Feng. Your talent is incomparable to the likes of Wei Yang. Once you have grown sufficiently, your power alone will far surpass that of all the elders combined. As long as your strength is enough, I can transfer the greatest authority of the city builder to you when the time comes, said Yuanxiang Palace Master to Luo Feng. The city builder's authority? Luo Feng was surprised. Yes, the rules within the city were set by me, Yuanxiang Palace Master said, looking at Luo Feng. I am willing to give Wei Yang Palace Master more benefits now to bind him to us. I can also reduce his benefits if needed. Of course, your strength must surpass both Wei Yang and Gai Tao, explained Yuanxiang Palace Master. What level of strength would be considered to have surpassed them both? Luo Feng asked. Both of them are enlightened at the Half Primordial Level with considerable accumulation, and possess no shortage of treasures, smiled Yuanxiang Palace Master. To completely surpass them, you must at least cultivate 2 paths, reaching the half-step primordial level in both. But I can transfer the city builder's authority to you. To master 2 paths at the Half Primordial Level? Currently, both my life and destruction are at the mid-Divine Emperor stage, and the life and death Tao is even at the early stage Divine Emperor. I still have a long way to go, said Luo Feng. With your talent it won't take long, Yuanxiang Palace Master said with a smile. I have encountered such an exceptional talent as yours in the Dark Sacred Realm. I believe that within 10,000 eras, you can reach this level. When Yuanxiang Palace Master was at full strength, he was already a peerless powerhouse in the Dark Sacred Realm. If the 2 founders are considered to be at the bottom of the Dark Sacred Realm, then Yuanxiang Palace Master is already standing at a higher level. The Palace Master really believes in me, said Luo Feng. Yuanxiang Palace Master flipped his hand, handing Luo Feng a spatial bracelet with a smile. A little gift for our first meeting. This spatial bracelet was without an owner, and Luo Feng could sense it with a thought. Upon sensing, Luo Feng was a bit stunned. Inside the spatial bracelet were mountains of primordial crystals, not just individual pieces but chopped into large blocks. A large piece like this could be worth 1 primordial crystal in itself. 50 billion primordial crystals? Luo Feng was somewhat dazed. Just a little token, Yuanxiang Palace Master said with a smile. It's nothing worth mentioning. Luo Feng thought for a moment but still accepted the gift. This gift was significant. By accepting he now owed a huge favor. However, these 50 billion primordial crystals were of great assistance to him at present. Seeing Luo Feng accept it, Yuanxiang Palace Master nodded with a slight smile. For now you just need to focus on cultivation. No need to concern yourself with other matters within the city. Luo Feng nodded. Thank you, Palace Master. After watching Luo Feng leave, Yuanxiang Palace Master was in a complex mood. The contamination keeps permeating and torturing me, and its influence grows stronger on me by the day. I don't know when I will completely collapse, my consciousness obliterated, said Yuanxiang Palace Master, feeling quite powerless. Before I perish, I'll do something for the billions of cultivators. Having lived in Yulan City for so long, he inevitably grew attached. He knew that a city could hardly exist forever. But he hoped that Yulan City would last as long as possible. In LuoFeng he saw hope. Palace Master in the Outer City's Cloud 9 District, Cultivator, Chu Feng Divine Emperor, from Cave Mansion 331297 is suspected to be controlled by low-level primordial life. A voice rang out next to Yuanxiang Palace Master's ear. Monitor all movements and associations of this Chu Feng Divine Emperor within the city, Yuanxiang Palace Master instructed. Try to find more infiltrators. Yes, the voice replied respectfully. Yuanxiang Palace Master was rather fatigued. The natural gifts of low-level primordial life beings were diverse. Despite Yuanxiang Palace Master trying every possible method, he could not prevent some from infiltrating. Those who infiltrated and went on a killing spree did not bother him much. What worried him were those who had been lying in wait, not making a move. These lurkers, once they erupted, would pose a huge problem. At this moment, LuoFeng was also returning to his own cave mansion. By accepting this gift, I have effectively taken a side among the 3 palace masters of Yulan City. LuoFeng chuckled as he looked at the spatial bracelet on his wrist. From the information he had, he was already more inclined towards Yuanxiang Palace Master. Reach that realm within 10,000 years? The Palace Master has quite some faith in me. With a smile, LuoFeng flew into his own cave mansion. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming great videos.